Hey there, I'm Paige. I'm a CRNA. It'll be 13 years now in May that I've been a CRNA. I am going to be reading and answering some questions today about becoming a CRNA and going to CRNA school. The first one is from Rodeo Cowboy. It says that they are a nurse anesthesia resident. Congratulations. I'm considering to relocate out of state after graduation and would love some guidance on how to start making connections in other markets. They go on to further ask about how to get in touch with recruiters or anesthesia groups in different states, especially as a new grad, saying I'm not totally sure where to start. Yeah, that's a great question. I know a lot of times we move for CRNA school, and then when we get closer to graduation, we start thinking about where do we want to go? What do we want to do next? It's a classic answer here, and I'm older, so things may have changed and may have evolved, but or been out of school for 13 years. But gas work is always my first go-to. So, you can filter by state. It's been around for a long time. I would kind of think about what market you want to be in. Let's say you want to move to California, then you want to narrow that down, right? So you can toggle on California and then go from there. Start looking at whatever. If you're wanting to go to San Diego, that's different than San Francisco or whatever. So gas work is a great place to start. Another generic good place to start is Googling. So you might Google the city you're hoping to relocate to, learn a little bit about the hospitals, or you could even Google anesthesia groups in that city, just those kind of generic names like that. Another good place to look after Google and gas work is social media, especially in recent years. Instagram, Facebook, great places. Different companies like us have pages where we'll post jobs. Granted, we are tailored more towards locum jobs, but we do offer permanent jobs. So just kind of following along and seeing what you see is always a good idea. You also might want to check out Facebook forums in the state that you're looking to move to, because each state has a CRNA Facebook forum where you could get some good information. This next question is from Kind Ratio 7555, and they ask, any advice for someone switching careers to strictly pursue this? Maybe what to focus on, what not to do? I've still got to do my ABSN prereqs and hopefully will be in nursing school next year. So yeah, that's exciting that you're switching careers. I wish you the best of luck. That's exciting that you're going to be starting nursing school next year. Congratulations. Yeah, I would just say to stay focused and positive and motivated, because it can be, a little bit tough between nursing school and then working in the ICU can kind of wear on you sometimes, and then trying to get back into school. But it's all exciting, a lot of new things ahead. So one thing I would mention is making positive relationships. So, if you can meet a mentor in nursing school, someone you can get a good recommendation from that could help you get a job in the ICU, and then again, maybe could write you a recommendation for nursing school. So in the back of your head, maybe just one little tip is, who might be able to write me a good recommendation for a job or for school? That might be helpful along the way. So I have another question here from Different Catch 4558, and they first ask, what's the schedule like the first year? How many classes, hours, etc.? Did you have early classes? And of course, that's going to be different depending on what school you go to. They're all going to have a little bit of a different setup. I went to maybe a little bit of an unusual school where we got to jump into clinicals pretty quickly after 5 or 6 months. So the strictly didactic portion of my program was pretty short. And then we did a lot of mix of clinical and didactic. Different Catch 4558 also asks, can you do it CRNA school if you have a baby? And the answer, of course, is obviously yes. Programs know and expect that people will have children, and that's a good thing, right? And they are set up and equipped to support people along the way. And yes, sometimes it can extend your graduation date a little bit, depending on what's missed and how much time is needed to make up. But it's certainly possible and shouldn't be a deterrent. We have a couple more questions here from Cynical Fly. First one is, what do you think helped you get through the process, specifically for people without families? And I'm assuming they just mean the process of CRNA school. Going ahead and making another assumption that they mean like you had to kind of move away from your family or you're not near your support system during this time. And I think my experience, which I think is fairly common, of course, everybody has different experiences, but my experience was that your classmates kind of become like your family during this time. You're all, out of your element. You've undertaken something new. Oftentimes you've moved away from people, your family system. So a little bit kind of like going to college or go into a summer camp or something that you kind of bond with those people in class with you because you're all going through something hard together. So my advice would be to not worry about that too much, to just kind of trust that you'll make some connections, whether it's the person you sit beside or somebody you get partnered up with for a lab. There's also like social activities that the schools put on to kind of foster that. People tend to support each other in CRNA school. Another question here from Cynical Fly. Do you go on mission trips or is it too much? And again, I'm going to assume this question is as a CRNA student during school. Maybe not the most helpful answer, but of course it's going to kind of depend upon your program, the time off allowed, whether or not you can practice in an anesthesia capacity on a mission trip. I'm not sure about. You'd need to check with your program advisor. They might be able to help on that. I'm assuming this would probably be an out of the country mission trip and not totally sure about different laws in different countries on people in anesthesia programs and what kind of supervision requirements are required while practicing. That said, I know some people like to go on mission trips, in still their nursing capacity. So again, you're definitely going to get like a week off a year, I would think at least. So if you want to spend your week off doing that, you're certainly welcome to. But yeah, different programs may have different missions they support. So that'd be something to look into as you're kind of looking into different programs. We've got another good question here from Cynical Fly. How do you network to find jobs? When should I start? Do you think it's worth finding jobs with tuition reimbursement starting from year 2, or is it just golden handcuffs? These are all really good questions. And I think I'm going to start with the last part of this. Is it worth looking for jobs with tuition reimbursement starting from year 2, or is that just golden handcuffs? And my answer would be, it really just depends on kind of what you're wanting to do in your career and with your life and with the next couple of years out of school. I would certainly say it's not a bad choice for everyone. It can be a great choice if there's an anesthesia group or hospital or facility in the area you want to live in that's offering that, and you'd be happy to move there after graduation and work there for a couple years. I think that can be a great way to get some extra money during school that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. Kind of set yourself up on the right foot, getting a couple years experience in. Typically when they have these type of programs, they're used to training new grads and, really helping amplify whatever training you got in school. So it can be a great place to kind of set the foundation for your career. And again, you got this bonus money because you signed up early. So in a scenario like that, I think it can be fantastic. Oftentimes these come with good retirement programs as well, kind of starting to build that nest egg is always a good idea. Of course, here we do locum jobs. So if you do something like that, then after your allotted time is up, we'd love to have you and check out what we have to offer. And the other thing some people do, which I know a lot of people talk about, is your sign-on bonus or tuition reimbursement. If you're really nervous for some reason about not being able to finish out your commitment, you can always put it in a high-yield savings account or something like that. So you have it available to pay back if you decide to leave. So you have options. Even when you agree to stay, you do have options. Okay, the first part, how do you network to find jobs and when should I start? Again, good questions. And I think a lot of this will be regional. I know a lot of schools have job fairs. A lot of states have job fairs, have state meetings. I know many students attend the annual AANA conference, which is a great place to look for jobs, going down the booths if you're not sure where you want to go or what you want to do. And then following along on social media, on pages like ours or similar pages is another place. While we specialize in locum jobs, we do have perm jobs that we advertise. So you never know what you might see that might pique your interest. I think I mentioned this in another question earlier, but another good place to look is in a Facebook forum where you're looking to move. For example, some smaller states just have a smaller Facebook group for their state, and then bigger states, for example, like in Texas, that might have like Dallas, Fort Worth CRNA Facebook group that you could join. If you're thinking you want to move to a specific metropolitan area, you can ask questions, connect with people there, kind of look for a job that'll be the right fit for you. All right, we have another question here from Historical Diver 1188. How is the first week of clinical like? What is expected for the first day? Is it harder than didactic, and what makes clinical hard? Good questions. We have an answer down here. BJJ nurse. They said, first week was rough trying not to look like an idiot, even though you will for sure look like an idiot with a laughing, crying emoji. I'd say first day expectations are following directions and getting the room set up. Just be prepared. In my school, we were in the middle of didactic while also doing 2 to 3 days per week of clinical. So that was tough trying to balance both. I agree with this answer. Yeah, of course, like any new thing, you want to make a good impression, do a good job. It's really hard to do when you don't know what you're doing. I think the answer to follow directions is really good. Just the typical advice, being there on time or early, having read whatever instructions were sent to you, just the little stuff, making sure your phone is charged, that you ate some breakfast. That kind of stuff will go a long way. And then, the first day is typical first day stuff a lot of the times, like getting set up with logins and Pixis access or computer access. Unfortunately, we all still, once we do it for a while, we forget how overwhelming it is for new people. So I think just being sure to give yourself a break and know that it is really overwhelming, no matter how sharp you are, that there's a lot of information coming at you, and not being scared to ask somebody to go over something again, take pictures, make notes, that kind of thing, especially with just all the paperwork, paperwork related stuff. Where is the GI lab? Can you give me those instructions again? Which elevator button do I push? And making a note about that in your phone will be helpful for you. And then, I also totally agree. That's a good thing to just kind of focus on, is whoever is precepting you, once you can make it to that part, they love it when the room is set up nicely. It shows that you're being thoughtful, that you're being prepared, that you care about your education. So again, you'll probably have learned how to do that in your didactic portion, but just being there, making sure your machine's checked if that's something you do at your site, and all your equipment's ready, and that the room's set up to the site standards. Is clinical harder than didactic? I would say absolutely not. I don't know about you, but I don't love sitting in a chair all day while people talk to me. I think it's a lot more fun to be out there doing the actual work. So at least in my experience, clinical is the fun part. So it's what you've been working for to get to do. So while yes, it's hard, it's also a lot of fun. So as far as what makes clinicals hard, different things for different people. But I know one of the things that can be kind of hard is if you're working with different people a lot and or working at different facilities, there's a lot of different expectations, right? Because everybody does things a little bit different, and how they did it, how the person you're with did it yesterday may not be how the person you're with does it today. Yesterday you were doing something great, and today whatever you're doing is totally wrong, even though it's the same thing. The good thing is you get to see a lot of different ways people do things. They usually have explanations for why their way is best, and eventually when you graduate, you can pick out of all those different ways you've learned about to see how you want to do things. But in the moment, that can be really tough. It can be really hard to think man, I tried so hard. I did everything I was supposed to do, and I'm still getting in trouble for doing this wrong. That can definitely be challenging.